And we are live.
Woo, yay.
What is going on? Yay. Hey everyone, what is going on? This is Coach Eric, and I have the fabulous Coach Caterina Passarelli with us today. But here's what we're going to do. Before we get started, let me explain to you what this is. All right, what the title of this is 3 questions with Coach Caterina. What we're going to do is once or twice bring the story to you. I want to introduce to you some amazing people that I have met along my journey. Now, it's really easy just to go on YouTube or Instagram and look at those before and afters, and a lot of those people have just incredible stories. But why not introduce the individual, behind the success? And that's the great blessing that we have as Beachbody coaches, is that we meet just some amazing people. And that's what I want to give to you. I want to just introduce to you some of these awesome people. So today we have Coach Caterina, and we challenged her today. We have a lot of you in the Motivated Fitness Bootcamp Challenge. You gave me some awesome questions, tons of questions. Well, I have allowed Coach Caterina to pick 3 of those questions to answer. So we're going to kind of do this like blitz style. So one other thing before I hand everything over to Caterina is this. Let me introduce you to this amazing young lady. We were talking the other day while we were getting everything set up with this. And funny thing about it is that I actually have a tie that is older than Caterina. We were just cracking up about it. But see, the wonderful thing about it is that Caterina has pretty much realized the American dream. I mean, this young lady's on fire. She just by her decision to say, you know what, I'm ready to get fit, and I'm ready to, really just embrace this Beachbody opportunity to really help my fitness. And then it just blew up from there. So long story short, this young lady has, she's purchased her own house. She's in the best shape of her life. She runs a team of over 7,000 Beachbody coaches. That's about, and it just blossomed up to something that totally changed her life. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Caterina Passarelli. Caterina, what's going on?
What's up? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for inviting me to be on this. I was actually really surprised and really honored that you asked me after I posted those before and after pictures on Facebook, which is always kind of scary to do because you never know what people are going to think. So I'm really honored that you asked me to be here with your challengers. This is so exciting. And I want everyone to know that I did challenge Eric to wear that tie, but he's not. So let's point that out. But let's also point out that me and Eric are wearing matching t-shirts. What? Never give up. Woo. Okay. This is so fun. So actually, I have your questions here, and I'm just going to read off one of the questions and then kind of just get into my answer. And it might get into my story a little bit too. So hold on one second. Let me just find the list here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to answer is, what advice do you have for someone beginning their fitness journey? And this is actually a really fun question for me because I started my fitness journey back when I was 17, and I did it by accident. So what happened was I had found, my mom has we have a big DVD collection, and I saw this DVD and I pulled it out and it said Turbo Jam, 5 rockin' workouts. And there was these super fit people on the cover, and it was talking about good music and all this stuff. And being a 17-year-old and knowing that your mom bought that, I kind of had this attitude of I'll be the judge of this, right? So that's terrible. But I went down to the basement and I put it in, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was the most fun thing you could do. The music was great. I love dancing, and I had taken dance lessons my whole life. So I kind of just fell in love with something that I really thought was fun. And I didn't see it as like, oh, this fitness thing or this exercise thing. So my advice to someone beginning their journey is to look for something that you think is fun. Fitness should be fun, and it should be like a big party. And so let's say people come to me and they say they've never worked out a day in their life. And they're like, oh, I just keep seeing this insanity infomercial. And as a coach and someone who's done insanity, I know like that's really hard. And sometimes it's not that fun. So I have to really like dig deep with that person and see like, maybe that's not the first program you should do. And some coaches might disagree with me and they might say, yeah, let them go do insanity. But usually I want to ask you guys out there, like, what do you think is fun? When you were a kid, what kind of stuff did you do for fun, for play? So for me, it was like dancing. So I kind of fell into the world of turbo. So it was Turbo Jam, and then it became Turbo Fire. But that was something to me that just really excited me. And I would go down to my basement every day and do it because I didn't think of it as like this chore or this hassle. Weight loss and fitness doesn't have to be this thing that's like, you know, making you throw up every day and just like treacherous and feel like just a burden. Like sometimes you see on, you know, reality TV shows that people don't look like they're having fun. They're like crying and swearing and complaining. And you'll get to that point in your fitness journey, but it doesn't have to be day one. Okay, day one, do something that excites you. Do something that you're like, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I cannot wait to go do that thing. Okay. My screen. Can you hear me, Eric?
Yeah, we kind of had a little glitch.
Okay.
Little
just making sure I saw
bandit.
myself like frozen on my screen like this, like what? So I was like, no.
Gotta live it live.
I was not sure.
Fine.
I didn't want to keep going. So that's my advice for question one, is to just find something that for you is fun. Okay. So here's another question. Would you change any choice you made along the way? If so, what and why? That is an awesome question. And I picked that one because I'm kind of excited to answer it. And I'm going to actually just drop some truth bombs on you about myself and say that, yeah, there are some things that I would change along the way. Two things in particular. So I'll tell you both of those things so that you guys don't make the same mistakes I did. You can save yourself some time in your journeys. So the first thing I did, a little bit about me, when I started that Turbo Jam journey almost 10 years ago, was when I was 17. I started that that journey and I lost 15 pounds. And I wasn't like on a mission to lose weight. It kind of just happened because like I said to you guys, I was having fun. So I lost 15 pounds. And then I switched over and I did a strength training program called Lean Extreme. And then I actually lost several body fat percentage points, numbers, I don't know what that is, but I was just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I maintained that weight loss for probably like 5-6 years more, you know, at a very small weight and body fat percent. And then I got a job where I worked the midnight shift. And I worked the midnight shift for 2 years. And when I first got the job, I was telling myself, you know, like, okay, I'm still going to be committed to being like super fit, even though I work like weird hours, and I'm just going to keep doing this. And I was still a coach, and I was actually a group exercise instructor during that time as well. But slowly along that journey of working midnights, I started letting my excuses take over. And I started believing these excuses that I was telling myself, and I started gaining weight back. So things I would tell myself like, oh my gosh, nobody who works midnights is healthy. That's not true. But in the moment, that's what I said. Or I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, you should just skip your workout and go to sleep. You really need to just go to sleep. Or when I would just drive to Tim Hortons, I don't know if you guys have Tim Hortons, we do in Michigan. When I would drive to Tim Hortons because they were open 24 hours and I could get a coffee at like 1 a.m., slowly I started adding in like a donut. And then, right? This is the truth, okay? And so I would do that frequently because I was kind of like you know, getting kind of like negative and down on myself about like having to work these midnight shifts, which wasn't for me, but I was just doing it because I thought, you know, I had to. So long story short, I started believing all these excuses that I was giving myself, and I had allowed myself to gain weight back. And then as a coach, when you know that you're gaining weight back, you're like, oh my God, this is like embarrassing, and you're down on yourself about it, even though it's not. It's not embarrassing. It's the truth and it's reality, and it happens to a lot of people. So you guys just saw that I lost 17 pounds because I had gained, you know, I had gained weight working, you know, the midnights and allowing myself to believe my excuses. So that's what I would change. And that's what I would change my excuses and like letting myself believe them. Excuses are really just lies that you're telling yourself. So it wasn't true that I couldn't be healthy working midnights. I have actually helped so many challengers now who come to me because they're like, oh, I'm working the midnight shift. I'm like, let me teach you everything I did wrong, right? And they're seeing results. So you know, maybe you're telling yourself some excuses right now. Maybe you're saying, you know, like, oh, I get this one from like moms. Oh, you know what? It's so crazy right now. I'll start this fitness thing when my kids are out of school. And then you tell yourself that, like, I can't do this until the kids are out of school. And then when the kids are out of school and you go back to check up with them, they're like, oh my God, it's so crazy right now. I'm going to have to do it when the kids are back in school. That's an excuse and like a lie you're telling yourself, just like me telling myself, you can't get fit working midnights. Like you can. Okay, so whatever you're telling yourself right now, realize that, is it the truth? Probably not. And so just know like that is a change I would make. I would go back and I would correct myself then and say, this isn't the mindset that you need to have. Like, let's knock it off. Let's be a grown up. Let's keep doing this, because then I wouldn't have even had to, you know, lose the weight that I gained. I would have just kept on going. So that's my advice to you guys. If you're telling yourself some excuses or you're waiting for something to happen to start now. Just start right now. And then I said there was two things that I would change along the way. Is when I first started working out, I ate foods that were kind of like diet foods. Right, so sometimes I'd eat like frozen meals that claim to be like diet healthy and stuff like that. I would go back and I wouldn't eat any of that crap today. I would not do that. And that's not how I lost those 17 pounds that you guys saw in those pictures. That's not it at all. And that would transition into, hold on, the other question was, this is our last question. How did I plan out my meals / cheat days? Somebody asked me that. This is me saying like, okay, I wouldn't eat any of that diet food that I ate way back in the day, because it wasn't, you know, yeah, I was losing weight, but I really wasn't giving my body like nutrients. You know, some of those things are just like empty calories. So I would tell my old self, like, don't eat that stuff. What I would do and how I plan out my meals is I have right here these containers that I am in love with. I love these things. They weren't around back then when I originally lost weight. But this is what you need. I eat real food. I have like all of them here. I have like 2 sets because I'm kind of lazy and sometimes they're in the dishwasher, but I like need more. So I bought more sets. So this is what I would do. I eat real food. I just portion it out in the containers that came with the 21-day fix. And in that picture you saw, I said I lost 17 pounds. 15 of it came from doing 2 rounds of the 21-day fix. I know somebody else asked this question, like, how did you do it? What programs is up? So 15 pounds came from sticking to 21-day fix containers and doing the 21-day fix workouts, which are just 30 minutes a day. And I didn't add anything to that. Sometimes people always ask me, like, did you do more workouts? No, I did the 30 minutes and then I was calling it quits. I was done. And then 2 pounds came from doing Insanity Max 30. But Insanity Max 30 helped me to like define myself. Like I noticed noticeable differences in like my stomach. And I also have a video out there about how it helped my like mental health. But so, you know, how I plan my meals is I really just stick to these containers. So when I first got the fix the first time, I read through the whole booklet. I do that with every program. I'm like, I read through the booklet to see like what's coming at me. And then what I did was, and like the first couple of times you do this, the first couple of days, you might be like, this is hard, or this sucks, or this is stupid, I hate these containers. But you'll love them like day 3, 4, and onward. That's my advice to 21-day fixers. The first couple of days, you're like, wait, what's in the green, and where do I find it? Or, oh my gosh, I ate too many yellows, or you just get confused. But stick with it. So what I would do is I planned out in my phone, in like the Notes app, what I was going to eat for meals, let's say 1 through 6, and I would write down like, I would tally off the containers. So I knew like, okay, I have 2 greens left after I drink my Shakeology for breakfast, which I put a big a green container of spinach inside my Shakeology. And I drink Shakeology every single day for like 6 years. So yeah, so I would just track it in there, and I would say like, okay, this is what's going to be generally my meals for the day, and I would stick to those. And I meal prep foods too, so I knew going ahead of time, like, hey, I'm never going to be stuck and like hungry and then like binge on something that's bad, because I have a sweet tooth and I love food. I'm Italian, we love food. So, you know, if I knew I had these handy and I knew I prepped my meals ahead of time, I would just go right to those. So this is what I did. I just stuck to these containers, and I, you know, to the best of my ability, and you guys saw my pictures and it worked. So those are my answers. And I do have on my blog somewhere, kind of like, I did it twice, what a typical day looked like for me eating with the containers. And I'm kind of boring, and I kind of eat the same things like over and over again, just because, like I said, I would meal prep and then I would use it for several days. So that's kind of what worked for me. But yes, that's what I got for you. I hope that helps.
Hey, Kat, what we'll do is you were mentioning some links to your blog. Mm-hmm. What we'll do is we'll put that in the group, and we'll put that on the page that has like the YouTube page, so people can reference that info. Now, I've got a bonus question for you. We have a little bit of time.
Sure.
All right. So coaching. Let's talk about coaching.
Okay.
This is mainly about fitness. I totally get it. Totally understand that. But coaching does kind of come into play.
For sure.
Well, first of all, you know, why did you decide to do coaching? How does coaching relate to your fitness? And I guess more importantly, how has your journey as a coach, how has that affected your fitness journey?
Okay, great questions. All right, bonus round. Okay, so I decided to become a coach like 6 years ago. That seems so long ago, but sometimes I feel like I just started. I became a coach because I was obsessed with Turbo Jam and Chalene Extreme, and really anything Chalene Johnson was about to put out there. Prior to being a coach, I told all my friends and family and coworkers about this thing called Turbo Jam, because people kept coming to me and saying like, what are you doing when I lost that 15 pounds? And I would always just say, these DVDs. I was just doing these DVDs. And I'm like, it's that easy. Like, just put the DVD in and you just do what the girl says. I'm like, you don't even have to be good at it. You're in your basement. No one knows, you know? So they started getting Turbo Jam just through Beachbody. And then I would come up with like little schedules for us to do, because we were all like coworkers and stuff. And I just thought it was really fun. So, I liked answering people's questions about, you know, fitness and stuff, or just like my journey and what was working for me. I'm not, let's put this out there on YouTube, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So, you know, talk to yours. But I just found it really fun. But I didn't actually go to college for fitness, and I was going into college at this time. I have degrees in English and journalism, so not related to business or fitness whatsoever. So anyone can be a coach. But I just did it because I really liked fitness. I thought it was so much fun once I had found Turbo Jam and a mentor like Chalene Johnson. And I realized that I trusted her so much, and that, you know, if she was partnered with this company that was changing my body, that I could just give it a shot and try it out. So that's really how I started coaching, is just because I really loved Turbo Jam. I had no idea what was going to come of it. I had no expectations for it. I didn't really know any coaches at all. I didn't even really know the person that was my coach. We just like met on Facebook, and like that's how it started. And then once you kind of put the label on yourself as I am a coach, even sometimes people, you don't have to go around and tell everybody like, I'm a Beachbody coach. If you're coaching, maybe let's say for like the 25% off discount, which comes in handy if you love Shakeology like I do. So just knowing in your head though that you're a coach kind of helps you to be accountable to your own fitness. And yeah, you still make mistakes as a coach. You're not perfect. Being a Beachbody coach doesn't mean that you have a beach body, because I don't have a Beachbody, but it just means that you're, that you're trying and that you're working at it and that you're honest with people and you tell them the truth when you slip up and when you have a success. And the cool thing about coaching is I didn't realize this when I joined. I did not realize this at all. But I had inherited this giant fit family of people who were like-minded and who were on the same mission and who were doing the same programs and getting the same results, and just people with the biggest hearts who will cheer you on and will support you and will answer your questions and will be your biggest support team ever. I didn't know that was going to come with signing up to be a coach. I had no clue, but it was the coolest thing ever. And sometimes in life, you don't always have that. You don't always have a support system in your family and with your friends. And especially when you start, sometimes you're the only one doing it. And you feel like, why am I all by myself? But you inherit all these people and they keep you going and they keep cheering you on. And it's just such a cool bonus that I don't even think it's talked about enough in coaching, is these cool people that you get to meet, like Eric, right? Everybody watching this, we met because of coaching and Facebook, and now we get to hang out on cool vacations together and run into each other all the time. It's so crazy, right? That's so crazy. So I think being a coach has helped me to stay accountable and has helped me to get back on track when I do slip off and fail, and has helped me to, pay it forward to other people and say, hey, this is what's working for me. That's really what it is. It doesn't mean that you are an expert. You just say, this is working for me. Let me tell you about it. And you decide if you want to do it or not. So I think that really has, that's the fitness side of what coaching has done for me. But coaching has changed literally every area of my whole life.
I love your house, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We were talking about that before with the American Dream. That is, you just recently bought that house, right?
I did. Yeah.
Very, very awesome.
Yeah. So. Oh, it was the craziest day ever. And I remember when I put the bid on it and it got accepted, and I was sitting with my parents, who my mom, she totally gets what we do as coaches, because I told you she's the original purchaser of Turbo and Power 90 and Slim and 6. And I grew up watching my mom do VHS tapes of workouts, and so it became natural for me. My dad, he kind of understands what we do, kind of. He's foreign, so but I can only say that because he's my dad. But so he kind of gets it, but he understands this is really cool, what she's doing. And so when I accepted the bid for the house, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I sat with my parents and I was like, really? This is because of Beachbody, for sure. The job I was working, I was a TV news associate producer. I was a writer and producing TV news shows here in Michigan. And I just knew I would never be able to get this house, or if I did, it would be so far down, years and years and years and years down the line based off of that salary.
30 something forbid, right?
Oh my God, that would just be awful. No, it would. It would be way, way down the line based off of what my salary was for there. So it, I was just telling my parents, I'm like, this is just crazy. And they thought it was just the coolest thing too. Then they agreed. They're like, yeah, it was Beachbody.
That's awesome. One of the things that I love about your story is the fact that, just how you answered the question. You didn't lead in and talk about, all the fancy trips and, how you quit your job and you got the house. You led in by saying, hey, I'm part of a family now. This coaching helps me stay accountable. It's changed my fitness journey, which is awesome. So, all right, well, we're going to wrap things up. You totally rocked those 3 questions.
Stop it.
Man, that's awesome. Boom, right? Thank you so much for
YouTube.
Appreciate that. That was cool. And I really like the matching shirt thing. I think that's fun.
I'm glad you made it so handy. You just ran away. They didn't get to see this, but you guys, I was like, Eric, I'm wearing this shirt. And he literally left and came back 1 second later and he had that shirt on.
Boom. I've got a whole drawer of shirts like that. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll coordinate.
Awesome.
All right, superstar. Well, thank you so much for, stopping by to visit us. And thank every one of you out there who are viewing. And one quick note before I go, I know a lot of you who happen to be Beachbody coaches had questions with regard to specifically your coaching journey. Kat and I, we decided to, what we're going to do is we're going to create another similar webinar like this, but it will be on the coaching pages, and we'll answer those specific questions that you have. We'll probably get a panel of other coaches so you can get a nice variety of perspectives to some of those awesome questions. So, all right, Super Kat, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I will see you in Nashville.
I'll be there. Woohoo!
Bye-bye.